little bit of wiggle room because I do have to move around. You want to make sure that your ends are going to come into the center so we can knot them. Then we'll put our envelopes together. The knots will be in the center. You won't even see the knots. So, which is nice if it's your first time and you're sort of leery. So we're going to start from the inside. And you're just going to push through that hole. And if you sort of bend your, you know, when you find your hole, bend your signature a little bit as you push through. And it makes it a lot easier to get all the way through. And see, that just, some of these are going to pop off as we go. Like I just got this one. And then what I do is I get here and I leave about that much because I want to be able to tie a knot. Now, if you weren't doing it on the inside with your envelopes and you wanted to leave charms, you could hang this down as long as you wanted. You know, I would put it probably to here. That gives you room to add your charms and stuff. But we're tying it in the envelope, so we don't need quite as much. Okay. Then I'm going to go to my top hole. And again, I'm just going to push through. And you don't have to push super hard. It goes. And you may have to wiggle around sometimes to get it where you want it to go. You got everywhere but the envelope. And you gotta watch your thread because sometimes it will catch. Okay. So we have that there. Then oh shoot. I did that totally wrong, so please ignore me. See? I forgot to go through the spine. I was just sewing the signature up. Okay, so we're going to go through the center again. We're going to go through the center, and we're doing this on the end, so I'm going to make sure we line up. Let's see, I want to... Okay, now we're going to go through the top and go through that hole. And here's where you sort of have to move your signature around so you can get it sort of evened out. Okay. Then, and you'll see sometimes it'll catch up, so you have to, and you want to sort of tighten it down, figure out, you know, you want to center your signature. Pull it tight. Okay. Then I'm going to go all the way down to the end. And again, sort of bend helps. Get it through your hole. And I'm going to go through the hole on the back. Now, I always make sure it's to the left, or to the right, sorry, of my signature. I'm backwards. And again, I sort of make sure that it's even. And then I slide my paper clip off and sort of slide it around my cover and my signature. Because then that sort of helps me hold it in there where it needs to be. Okay. Then I'm going to go back through. And this is when I want to flip it forward so I can sort of see what's going on in the back, because I'm going to go through my hole. And this is really hard to, like, I'm trying to show you guys, but here, I'll loosen it up and you guys can see. Hopefully you can see my needle right there. I'm going to go, and I want to make sure I don't split. I don't want to split where I had it before. I'm going to go through the same hole. Let me move this over a bit so you can tell I'm going through the same hole. I'm going to come up through the middle, and I want to make sure I go to the other side of, you know, that string. Okay. And the reason why is you want both ends to be on opposite sides of this center string. And you're going to want to pull them sort of tight. You have metal grommets in there, so you don't have to worry about it messing with your paper or anything like that. Okay. I'm going to come in. I'm going to trim that off. I'm going to hold this tight, and then because my string is waxed, it's a little bit different. I can push this down, and because it's waxed, it'll sort of stick there. If it's not waxed, then you just want to hold it, and you're just going to do a square knot. So let me make sure. Okay, I go in front. Okay, so it's in front, and I'm going to pull the string through. And if you're trying to hold it, you know, it sort of makes it easier to do that. And then you can just tighten it up and go as you. Then once you have that, okay, then I go behind and go the same way. And that just sort of, you're knotting in two different directions. It creates a square knot. And then like if you have wax thread, you can sort of push it down. Okay. Then you can trim this down. Like I have that much left, but I can use that on the top of a little tag or something like that. Okay. So now we can unclip this, and I always unclip as soon as I get done with it. And I do a flip through. Yeah. Gotta make sure it's not the right way. Before I do anything, and my journal slid. Okay, so do a flip through and make sure you cut all your pages. All these were centered up pretty good, so okay. Now mine did slide. If you'll notice, it's closer to the top than the bottom. So that's just an error on my part. Probably when I poked my holes, I let my template slid because I have space here and I have a little bit more up here. So I think it actually slid on me when I was placing it. But I'm going to go with this because I have this lace that I used on some of the tabs and I wanted to do a small bit of edging, so I had some fluff hanging out the bottom, not anything major. And I do still have, you know, my 1/8 of an inch around here where I'm going to do some altered paper clips across the top. So, but other than that, it looks great. And I mean, and that's it, you just run with the money. So I mean, yeah, it slid on me. Throw a little lace across the bottom and you're covered. Again, perfect example of why you need to watch what you're doing. Okay. But again, I'm not fretting. I'm not worrying about that because it's a junk journal. I can fix it. And, you know, that's probably my #1 thing I try to get across is, you know, maybe it's not perfect. You know, obviously it's not. But guess what? That's fixable. You know, and we all make mistakes. Now, if you make a mistake on purpose, that's a little different. But, you know, sometimes you have to work with, and again, I'm just poke that through, see? Right like that. I need to make sure, yes, I got it through. Oh, and I just pulled it all the way through, so see? Oh, I'm just making all kinds of mistakes today, aren't I? I hope you guys are paying attention so you can get these. So you don't make the same mistakes. And again, I'm just going to go through the back. I'm going to go up to the top, find where my hole is. Push through, go through my top hole. And again, you got to watch those long extra strings. Okay. Then I'm going to come up through the center. And again, I hope you guys can see this. And remember, you need to be on the other side of the string before you tighten it up. And I'm going to pull. Okay, it's tight on the back. So I'm going to tighten it down. Move my journal where I want it. And again, I'm going to do the square knot once through the back, once through the front. Okay. Pull my clips off. And again, see, it's set up just like the other one, because when I made my holes, I had that on my journals. I let my journal slide, my template. So that's something you need to keep an eye on. But again, it is all fixable. And you guys will see, you won't even notice when I get done. I'm trying to flip through here sort of fast because I don't want the video to go so long. Okay, so see, we do have that space in between there, but again, we're going to fix that. Or, I mean, you can leave that, even if you want to. I mean, as you know, bulk up your journal, it's going to push together to where you're not really going to notice that's there anyway. So, let me... get the last one in, and I'll try to slow this down again so you can see one final time. Okay. And again, we're going to make sure we go front to the right direction. We're going to go through the center. Again, remember, if you fold, it helps. It's going to come out the back. We're going to take it through the center hole of our spine. Making sure that we, you know, somewhere up here get a hold of our end. Okay. I'm going to come up. This time I'm going to go through the top. And you can go through the top or the bottom, it's the same. Then I'm going to push through the same hole, all the way through. Make sure you grab hold of your string and hold it, because if you don't, you will pull everything straight through. I'm going to tighten that down. Okay. I'm going to go here. I'm going to push through my hole, and again, if you fold, it helps. It's going to come straight through. I'm going to tuck it through the grommet again, pull it through the back. And the hardest part is when you go through the center, because it's sewed in. So I always sort of pull mine out a little loose. Again, if you sort of fold, it's a little easier. Make sure you go on your hole straight. It comes straight through. And right like that. Pull, make sure you're on opposite sides of your string. Okay. You pull your needle off, sort of tuck, pull. did I? Okay. And then we're going to tie our knot. Okay. Pull our clips. Okay. Pull our envelope up. And again, so we have all of them in there, and sort of move them around a little bit. This seems, I think I didn't tighten it. I didn't tighten the one end up on down here. So if you do that, and do you see how this is sliding really far? That's because I have about 1/4 of an inch too much gap in there. So you just take a needle, just like if you do any other knot, and you're going to pick the knot, and these are all mess ups that I would love to say that nobody ever makes, but guess what? We all do. So, you know, I'm trying to get under here to get this. Of course, with cotton thread, it's sort of wax thread, it's sort of stuck. Okay. Some of it's sticking. Come on. That's what I get for trying to show you mistakes you can make, because those are easy mistakes. Those are mistakes that, you know, just a simple, you're working on it and the phone rings, or you're working on it and somebody walks in the room, you know, or you're just working on it thinking about what you need to do next, which, you know, is what I end up doing. Okay. So when you do that, you just sort of untie them, right? Okay, so I've got my threads untied. And I'm going to figure out where I need, okay, yep. So I need to tighten this, pull this string, and I have cut these short already, so it's a little harder. Trying to make sure that I have this pulled tight. I'm gonna make sure that's pulled in there. I'm gonna show you something in a minute. And again, I'm just going to do the little square knot. It's just a little harder because it's a little shorter, but it does work. Okay, there we go. So, we got that. So, okay. You'll see, which I did on purpose, these are higher and this is lower, if you can see that. Where it slid. One went one way and one went the other way, right? Okay. So, we need to fix that. And you can move, you have a little give, you know, that you can move. But, here's what I would do. First of all, let's get these envelopes glued. And this may be a 2-part. I may have to split this because it may be long. If it is a 2-part, I will premiere the 2 parts back to back, so you can watch it if you want to, but then people have it if they want to see it. So I'm going to art glitter glue my envelope shut. Make sure I don't give it a little bit to tack up. I just want to make sure that I don't glue my envelope closed. Okay. And slide that in. Okay, and then hold on a minute, let me grab I had some small gold accented paper clips I wanted to use to hold those closed. So there's that one. And again, hold it closed. Like my insert in. Those are still within. And paper clip closed. And then we're going to come over here and do this one. And everybody's probably anxious to get this done, probably tired of seeing the same thing, really seeing it step by step. Tuck that in there, fold it over. And clip it. Okay, so let's come back here and see what we can do. Well, first of all, I want to do some altered paper clips across the top, and that's going to hide a lot of that if it does happen. And again, this is something that occurs all the time. It's just, it's life. Now, you have one or two options. I could have undone this, sewed it, and moved it up. And just poked in another separate hole, hidden within my envelope. So you're not going to see it anywhere else. So we can do that, which means we have to re-sew, but we already glued our envelope, so we're going to have to fix this. Okay? So I'm going to pull out some of my lace. I've got some brown I wanted to try to use. There's some more of my lace. There's that we've used. There's some cheesecloth. There's an applique that I thought about putting on the front because it would add just a little something. Not a whole lot to take away from it, but just enough to sort of give it a pretty. So it doesn't look quite so plain. And I really like that, so I think we're going to put that on the front. Let's see. I'm trying to see what else we have here. I've got some goofy green trim. We got burlap twine here, so we have tons of stuff that we can use to fix this. Okay, so first off, I want to go to the center. And I think I want to run this green because it can go up both pages. Oops. See? That's why you clean up your stuff as you get done working with it. Okay. So I'm going to run this trim across my center of my signature. Why in my center? I could split this up and put it in two different places. We could do that. We could put it on the front of the signature and on the back of the signature, maybe? No. I want to run it across the center. I think that's just how I want to do that. And of course, oh, it's turning out to be one of those days. And again, like I said, I'll split this into two videos if I have to. And I'm going to put quite a bit of glue across here because this is a very heavy trim. But I love that it's green. I think that's going to add sort of that another dimension to it. And again, I'm trying to show you ways that you can repair if there are issues. Sometimes it just happens. I mean, and you know, sometimes you're not able to just pull it apart and redo it. So you just have to sort of run with the flow. And I wasn't going to do this part. I was just going to do, you know, the basic, let's sew it in and be done with it type of thing. But I had somebody ask me in a chat and said, you know, what do you do? I mean, you messed this up and I sewed it in completely wrong. What do I do? And then just add this, a little bit of color to this page. I'm going to put this right at the bottom. It's not going to really hurt anything, but since we're putting it up there, we'll just drop a little doodaddy at the bottom. Just add that little pop of color. Nope, that's actually a curly Q thing that's supposed to be there, but I think. Okay. So we've got that across the bottom. So already, you don't really notice that that's not straight, do you? Isn't that weird? Wouldn't you think you would have noticed that this was, you know, a good 1/4 of an inch lower than the others? But you really don't notice. Let's keep going. Let's come back here. I'm going to pause the camera. I have a lace I want to grab and I'll be right back. Okay, so I grabbed a few trims that I thought would be really cute to sort of use. I sort of liked this, and we do have a lot of peachy tones. So I thought we would run it across the middle here, across the bottom of there. So, and again, this is just sort of trying to pull to cover up where we made our mistake. Because again, you know, we all make mistakes. Figuring out how to cover them up is the big thing. And I know that sounds really crazy. And I know somebody out there right now is going, yeah, well, I just took it apart. Well, sometimes you can't. I mean, sometimes we do things and it's like, uh-oh, it is permanently there. So what happens? Your half-finished project that you realized you messed up on gets thrown in the back of your closet, and there it remains forever because you're not sure what to do with it. Pull this down just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to snip this around the envelope. I'm going to use my art glue for this. And I'm just going to run a little bit on that side and a little bit on that side just to tape that down. I use the art glitter glue because I want something that's going to dry faster, although sometimes that's not the case. There we go. Okay, and we can run that up through here at the top even. Trim the little edge off. Come over here and trim this. And see, that really sort of goes. I mean, look at that. And it lays open, so you can actually trim. Actually, let's cut this one. It sort of seems to have a tighter hold than the trim did. There we go. Okay, so we have that. That sort of adds to the bottom of there. And then back here, there was a page that I was, where's the, trying to find the center. Where's my envelope? There it is. Yes, because it had the pink, and I thought we could do this lace here that has the pretty little flowers on it. I thought that would really sort of go with it. So we're not doing a ton of lace, we're just doing a small bit of lace. I am going to trim this down. So I'm going to go, let me make sure. I'm going to go in between these two. I'm not even going to worry really that it's super straight. I'm sort of snipping through the same design, so I know it's going to be. And then this we'll put up somewhere else. Okay, so pop this, oopsie. And again, this is just last minute add-ons, you know, to sort of straighten it up, you know, if you've got accidents. And again, I know I'm trying very hard, because I know that there is somebody out there going, oh, no, why would you do that? Just unsew it. And I'm trying very hard to show people that sometimes you can't. So you just make do, you know, and you do the best that you can to fix it. And that's what we're doing. Okay, so see, that's got that and that all hanging off the bottom. Let's see, that's got that hanging out there. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, that's got the shell in there. How about we do just, but now, so we're going to do the lace here. Well, this is already low, right? Because we put it in low. So we're not going to put the lace as far down. We're not going to have that overhang like we do with the other ones. It's just way, it's sort of more of creating an optic illusion that it's even. Whoop. So, you know, we're just going to put that little bitty small end out. And see, that was just perfect to do a page. So just hold that there. Hope none of our pages stick together. Okay. So see, that's just a little bit, but it adds a little bit so you have that lacy look still, but it's not long enough that you're feel like you're overdoing. Okay. So we did something on the bottom of all of them. Let's go through on the top. I love that green through there. I mean, I'm sort of glad that that happened. That looks really good right there. Okay, so let's see what we want to do with the top. I think I want to do some of this, but I maybe don't want it that long because it takes up way too much of the page. So I'm just going to cut this down and trim it. Let's go in here. Let's do it on top of this page right here. It's sort of blank, but you've got that sort of, my glue's all goobery. The only thing bad about Fabri-Tac, that and the strings. Okay, so we have that. Again, this is really high, so we don't want to put a lot, but we want to make sure we have enough where we have some stuck out. You don't want it to look odd. I'm going to trim. Give it a sec to dry. And then we can use this other part that's sort of straight over here on the other one. Just find a page that we want to put it on. How about right there? Trying to give this enough time to dry so it's not going to glue itself to itself. Now I'm getting to the end. And I'm sorry if this is going way too long for some of you guys. The final is always the longest. I don't know. I think because I start thinking about everything that I want to add that I didn't add. So, I mean, I didn't want a super lot of lace, but I wanted enough lace that it still had that, like, pretty to it. And this allows for that, and it sort of makes up for where there's a mistake, which is always good when you fix a mistake. And I think I'm just going to put this down at the bottom. because sometimes that little bit just makes all the difference. Just a little bit. It just adds a little touch of daintiness to the page. Okay, so we have that. We've got lace on the bottoms. We've got lace on the tops. We need to do altered paper clips. I'm going to go ahead while I have my Fabri-Tac out here and glue my applique down that I want to put on the front. And I'm going to put a I want to put a nameplate on it. And I may have to come back in a part 3 and do that because I want to print out the word ledger in a really pretty calligraphy type font. Fabri-Tac strings. But see, I just wanted that, and I thought that was just enough to add a little lace to the outside. And then I do have to add the corners. So I probably will come back in another video because I have to add the corners. And I want to do the ledger plate. So I'm going to slide this to the side. And we still have to do the back. Although I'm thinking about leaving the back plain just so as you're journaling, you sort of have that flat area. You know, to journal on. I actually thought about doing that and just leaving that on the front, and I think I will. I was going to do the plate, but I changed my mind, guys, because I want to put the frog stamp on the front because I just love the frog stamp. So I'm hoping, like, by doing this and sort of accidentally doing it wrong, that you guys are sort of, you know, seeing different ways that you can fix things if things happen. And I mean, you know, sort of, because sometimes you do get in that jam where you do that and you're like, oh no. So, okay. I do want to do some altered paper clips. I really wanted to use this. It has like a really pretty rose, but it's still got sort of a very pretty font look to it. You know what, I'm going to actually do it on one of these bigger paper clips. I have some rusted paper clips, but I really don't want to do that. And I'm just doing a simple sort of fabric ribbon altered paper clip, but not a lot to it. Then I'm just going to come in and, you know what, I'm actually going to, because this is such a wide ribbon, I'm actually going to snip it. So it's actually going to look sort of like it has 4 little ribbons up there. And I don't mind about the strings. I sort of like the strings. I trim up a little bit, but not a lot. And then you sort of got nice little, and we will come here and I just want to put these in here so if people have stuff they want to add, they can sort of put them in there. So there's that one. Let's do one with this brown. This is very, very vintage. It's gonna be a big one. Let's see, did I have another? I have that one sort of brownie. Well, it's a, choose this little peach one. We'll find a page that's got peach on it to put it on. There's a lot of peach in this kit. See, I just love those big fluffy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the end. I'm going to snap just a teeny tiny bit. You can tell this is really vintage, can't you? Hear the sound of it? Tore crooked. There we go. So it sort of has all the different little ends off of it. This is sort of cute. I like that. So actually let's use this one back here. Okay, and let's use this one up here since this is a lower one. And we'll just put it, oh, how about here? You can sort of hold that guest ticket down. There we go. Maybe a little bit closer to the inside. It'll give it just a little bit of more fluff at the top. One because it's a lot bigger than what I thought it was. So we will put it through here. Let's find something. There we go. Put it right there. So two little fluffy paper clips. I'm gonna do one more for the last one, and let's do one with this. And let's use a pretty spring green. And again, these are plastic coated paper clips. You can use metal, you can use, you know, whatever kind you want. I sort of like the plastic coated. I actually think, you know what, let's use a little gold one. I think I want a small paper clip because the other ones have all been really big. If you have something big and bulky, let's do one small one. And again, I'm sorry if this is just dawdling. So we have the cover done. Let's see, I'm trying to go through everything we need to do. Have the cover done. And we've pretty much done all of this. I'm going to leave the back without anything on it. The back inside cover. I'll tell you why. Because I want it flat to where people can write on it. And sometimes I think if we put a bunch of stuff back there, it makes it too big and bulky to be able to write. And I would like to think with all the calligraphy and all the writing in this that somebody would actually use this to write on. There we go. So let's find some place back here for this to go on. How about we just pull this little tag up here. Oops, I did that backwards. You didn't see me do that, did you? Okay, so we're going to pull this tag up here and slide that on there, and that'll sort of let the green pop out of the top too. Okay, so, you know, there's what the top looks like. Really can't tell that everything's all crooked. I mean, you can tell right here if you look through there because you don't see it there, but it sort of looks like it was on purpose. I think it looks great. I don't think it looks really bad. So, you know, it works. So, there's that. I want to put the tassel on. I did go in and sort of just cut some of that lace down and some of those little scraps and add to the top of my dangle. And literally all I did was take some of the thin lace that I had and cut it in half, and then I just cut that ribbon into little strips like that and hung on there. So just to add a little something something to the dangle, as Genevieve Designs would say, a little something something. So let me click that on there. Okay, So there's what our dangle ends up like, and that sort of helps. I think the little lacy bits sort of help it hang a little bit better too, just because it keeps it from gliding around. So that's what the end of it looked like. So there we go. I do want to take, I wanted, let me find it, walnut stain. I wanted walnut stain. I do want to go through and just sort of ink the edges some, around on the outside edges, just sort of dirty it up a little bit. Just along the edges. I'm not really even, this is one of the little mini, and I'm just sort of running it across there, just sort of lightly. It just sort of gives it a little bit of darkness. Again, this isn't a super wet one either. It's been used quite a bit. And I even could go through and, because that's really white, my threads are, sort of want to give it like it's old and, you know, it's been hung around on a shelf for a while. So that sort of ages that up some. So it's just not as, I could even, you know, go over it with some black, but I really sort of like it the way that it is. Let's see, so what else did we have? There was, oh, I need to do the corners. So let me grab my pliers here. Oops. And I use a pair of needle nose pliers. That's just sort of what I've always used. And let me find my little plastic bin that's got my corners. Trying to see if these are silver toned or just not these are my legs. Hold on just a second. Let me pause you and grab my corners. Okay, I'm back, and I actually got the brassy bronzy ones because I think they sort of match more with the spine and just with the reds in here a little bit more. So these are pretty simple. You just slide them on, and then you lift here and you sort of fold them. Okay, and then what I do, and see, they'll still slide even after you fold them like that. I pull them over like that, and then where is my, I have this old, it's like velour, and I sort of just hold it over it. You can buy pliers that have plastic ends that you can use. I just sort of cover it with this velour, and it seems like it works and keeps it from, you know, denting in and doing any damage to my cover. And then I just sort of move it across from the tip, and then we'll check it. Yep, it's on there good and nice and firm. Then we'll do this side, and again, I do always do this by hand, the first squeeze if you can. If you don't have the strength in your hands, then, you know, by all means use the pliers. And again, and I sort of like try to cover the whole entire corner when I go, and just sort of go out to the edge, and then I'll come over here, making sure that because I don't want to scratch or cause any dents or anything, and the cloth sort of protects my corners. You can buy like I said, pliers that have like little silicone tips on that you use to do this. I've just always done that, and I mean, they stay on pretty firm. Okay, and then I actually want to do the back corners too. I know some people only do the front corners. I actually like, I mean, it's a little more costly, obviously, if you put them on the back and the front. But I like to think when I do journals that they're for the long haul. So I like to think that, you know, it's something that even if you write on and you feel that, you know, you'll keep and pass down to your kids and, you know, maybe your grandkids and your great-grandkids, and, you know, you never know. I mean, there's journals now floating around from the, you know, forever ago. So I sort of like thinking that maybe mine has a longevity, you know, so you want to make sure that it's covered to the best of its ability. And these are Tim Holtz corners. I get them from, I got these from Michael's. You can order them from, you know, different places online, so like that. I like the Tim Holtz ones. I find them a lot sturdier than some of the other, I don't know what word to use. I don't want to say cheaper. I mean, they are cost-wise. The more other, you know, not so costly versions, let's say that way. And I'm all about finding a deal. So honestly, what I do is I wait till one of two things. I either go in, and I don't like wasting my coupon for, you know, a set of corners. So see, then the corners are all covered. Let's turn this over. So there's what our beauty looks like when she's done. And I will do a flip through. I will come back and do a flip through. It'll be a video completely by itself. But what I do a lot of time is I wait till it's on sale. And when they're on sale, then I go stock up, you know, and I'll buy, you know, how many ever packs that I need. Because it's one of those things I, you know, go through every so often. I tend to go through, like, the antique brass looking ones first, or the antique gold ones. I always go through the silver ones last. I don't know why. I don't know. I think because I like that antiqued, brassy, bronzy, goldy color. Okay, and then this is our closure again. This was just a scarf. I looked out. It had trees on it, and it's got bird's nest, and it's got bird's nest with like little bird eggs in it. I hope I did that backwards, because I want this tied the, nope, let's see. Sorry guys, I'm not trying to be crazy. I just have a certain way that I wanted this tied, because I knew it would. There we go. Okay, and then I can come up here. You know, pull my little bow out, which I haven't tightened down my knot very well, so it's not pulling really well. There it goes. You know, sort of pull my little bow out here at the top. I know, I'm making this look so much more difficult, aren't I? Oh, there it is. So, like, that's what it looks like with everything on it. So, I mean, even considering we did the mistakes to, you know, show you how to fix those, you can tell it still looks awesome. So, I mean, I could honestly take this out and fix it. But, I mean, I really don't think it takes away, and I wanted you to see, you know, and I mean, there's the bottom. The bottom doesn't look bad either. I wanted you to see sort of what you could do if, you know, you do make that mistake. So, you know, it's a one of a kind. You're not going to find another one with a mistake on accident on purpose in it. So, okay, well, I will be back to do a complete flip through from beginning to end. I hope you have enjoyed this series. I have had a blast doing this. It's been very enjoyable for me. So we will be back in February with our little journal sensation series, but it'll be a little bit different than this, so don't expect this because we're not repeating. Well, that's not true. We'll eventually do a journal, but what we're doing for February is not like this. It's not a journal like this exact journal, but I'm not telling you yet. You'll have to wait and see. So I will be back with a flip through. I hope you guys have a great day. Again, I am so sorry for the length of this video, but we were trying to tidy up and do all those last little things that I could have broke it down, but I didn't want to break it down into 15 different videos. So, you know, there will be 2 parts to it, so don't be afraid of that. They'll premiere back to back. So if, you know, that's just the way it is. You guys have a great day, and we will see you again next time. This is Dorothy, and I'll see you later. Bye.